The advice that everyone gives you about Spanish is exactly why you're still stuck. I'm Hamid, I speak 4 languages fluently, and I got fluent in Spanish 4 times faster than the average person in just 120 hours. Everyone tells you to watch slow, easy Spanish, okay? And I actually did the exact opposite. The thing that they're ignoring is that the same word can be completely different depending on how it's said. The textbook Spanish, the type of content that's for people who are beginners in Spanish, it's very clean and slow. There's no sort of flow in their speak. It's very clean, it's very slow, and they usually have forced subtitles. But the thing is, real Spanish, like the thing that you'll hear in real life, is much faster, it's much denser, meaning it's much more compressed. And a lot of the letters and stuff are dropped and then words are fused together. The advice of watch slow Spanish sounds smart on paper. Like it sounds like it makes sense. But in reality, it actually hinders your ability to understand natives. And the reason for that is because you get good at what you practice. If you want to get good at understanding real natives when they speak, well then studying real Spanish is what you should practice. Because inversely, ask yourself, what are you doing if you don't? What are you doing if you study slow Spanish? Well, you're going to get better at understanding slow Spanish. The problem is that that's not congruent with what natives speak, because natives speak real Spanish, fast Spanish, condensed Spanish. What happens is when you're trying to speak with a native, there's going to be a wall, because you're not going to be able to understand what they're saying, because what they're saying is going to be said so much faster with an accent and with dropped letters and stuff that you won't be able to understand it, even if it's the exact same word. The problem is that you're training for a language that nobody speaks in real life. In the same way that no one speaks textbook English in real life. No one actually says, hello, today I am going to do many things. However, I think that no one speaks like that in English. And you can assume the same thing for Spanish and every other language. In fact, it's a pattern I've noticed through all my 4 languages of Swedish, English, Azerbaijani, and Spanish. But when you look from the outside perspective, you realize, yeah, they're completely different. For example, in English, we say ama. Right? Ama. To us, ama and I am going to are the exact same thing. We can't distinguish between those two because we hear the same thing, right? Because we have been speaking real English all our lives. But someone who's learning English is going to really struggle understanding the difference between ama and I am going to because of how different they sound, right? Like in Swedish, jag vet inte might sound like gärna in real life. And so what is the fix then? If it's not watching slow Spanish, what is it? Well, I'll tell you, what a lot of people might misinterpret and say that I'm saying is to watch fast Spanish and understand nothing. That's not what I'm saying at all, okay? It's actually something that's a bit more hidden that nobody talks about, but I would say is the reason that I got fluent. If a conversation is just speaking and understanding, right? It's speaking Spanish, of course, also understanding spoken Spanish, right? That spoken Spanish should be real native spoken Spanish. And so watch slow Spanish is training for the wrong thing. And so what I did was, instead of spending time studying slow Spanish, I allocated that time on understanding fast Spanish. Or if you're just starting out, I'd highly recommend checking out the Speedy Spanish cheat sheets, which are all my cheat sheets to help you start learning Spanish with these frameworks. And you'll find it in the first link in the description. And so what I'm saying is we increase the difficulty of the content, when we make it harder to understand, but then we slow down the amount of time it takes for us to understand it. And we do that in order to combat the difficulty, of course, right? And so what I'm not saying is that we turn both dials up. We pick super hard content that we don't understand, and then we just speed through it and then don't understand it. Well, that's not what I'm saying at all. And many people misunderstand it like that. What I'm saying is we increase the difficulty and slow down our time with the content. We spend more time understanding the content and we increase the difficulty so it matches. This makes it more congruent with our goal, which is the complicated word of saying it matches our goal better, therefore it's better. And so don't dumb down Spanish, dumb down your speed through it. Don't study for a language that's easier. Study for the language that you want to learn, but don't try to speed run through it. Take your time with understanding it. Because the trade-off is that, okay, you spend less time understanding a 5-minute piece of content, but the piece of content you studied isn't even congruent with what natives say. The output isn't useful, right? The results you get from studying slow Spanish does not outweigh the results you get from studying fast Spanish, even if you do a total of more content if it's slower Spanish. Because the trade-off is you lose the ability to understand natives and you gain an arbitrary number of hours of, oh, I'm on 2,000 hours on Dreaming Spanish. Who cares about that number if you can't have conversations with natives? Right? And so real Spanish is just mainly correct vowels with speed, okay? And so you get that speed by dropping letters, fusing words, and then also adding accent with the vowels. Okay. And so the apps, the textbooks, the dreaming Spanish, the garbage, slow content on YouTube that tries to teach you Spanish, all trained you on like this, like outside view of Spanish that like, people who tried to learn Spanish look at, right? It's kind of, it's the English equivalent of like someone who's trying to learn English who like reads textbooks and stuff. Have you ever read an English textbook? Like I have, like in Sweden, I have. It's like that language doesn't reflect how real English in real life sounds like. So here's a perfect example. If you said está todo bien, in real Spanish, that might sound something like está todo bien. And so you probably already knew this before clicking on this video, right? You obviously, you know that real Spanish doesn't sound like the Spanish you've probably been studying. Pick the thing that is made for natives, not made for learners, because you don't want to get better at understanding an easy version of Spanish. You want to get better at understanding the real version, the real Spanish. Okay, so now you might be thinking like, okay, Hamid, I get it. I should study fast Spanish, but how will I understand the Spanish if it's super fast? So we already know that we need to spend more time understanding. So let me show you the framework I use to understand the real native fast Spanish. So I call this transcript training, and it follows what I call the learn ladder, which is listen, understand, and repeat. And I broke up the understanding step into 2 parts just to make it a bit more insightful. So, but this is how it broadly looks like. The broad sort of idea is we listen to natives, we're going to try to understand what they're saying, and then we repeat. First step is to listen. Okay, so you play, for example, one sentence. In reality, what I do is I play the sentence of the content until I don't understand anything. If you're watching native content, that'll probably be very early on. The ideal content here is obviously native content, real fast Spanish, with an accurate transcript. Okay, and the reason why is because if you have an accurate transcript or subtitles, it'll be easier to match what they're saying with the text. Okay. And that's how you understand, okay? That's the sort of meat and potatoes here. I'm not telling you to watch just without subtitles and just try to guess. The trick is to find accurate subtitles and transcripts so that you can make the connection between what you hear and what is actually written. The red part is what you'll hear, and the transcripts will show you what's actually written. And so getting accurate subtitles and transcripts shows you that discrepancy, which is exactly what we're after. So once you've heard what they said and you've matched it to the actual words, now it's just understanding those words, okay? And so the way I like to do this is to go word for word on DeepL, which is a translator. And the idea here is the reason why I do this is to find the why, which is the reasoning, the logic, okay? It's because when you break down a sentence word for word, you can extrapolate more logic from that, okay? And then I like to understand the grammar by searching up the verbs. And I do this on a website called SpanishDict.com. And so this helps me learn some of the irregularities. And this is helpful because instead of memorizing a chart of irregularities, I rather just search them up and practice them as I'm going through content, because it matches exactly how much, it matches real native use exactly, right? It means that the verbs that you'll search up the most will be the most used verbs. And so what happens is you'll practice the verbs that are the most used in Spanish. And so you're wasting no amount of time on unnecessary verb conjugations. And then finally, I just repeat that, meaning I go back to before the sentence was said, and then I see if I can understand it now. And ideally, I turn off the subtitles to see if I can understand it. And I should be able to understand it because I just went through the entire step of understanding. And so that's that sort of sentence that we didn't understand before. Now we fully understand it. And that's how you understand native Spanish content, even if it's super hard. And so what you'll notice is we're reallocating our time. We're getting faster Spanish content, but we're spending more time on understanding the content. What slow Spanish does is it spends more time on the content and less time on your understanding of it. And fundamentally, learning comes from understanding. It comes from not knowing something and then understanding it so that you know it now. And the more of those reps you get, the better. And so not only is watching native Spanish content better because we want to speak with natives, but also it focuses more of your time on the understanding of Spanish rather than just hearing it. And also the stuff that you'll be hearing will be more native. And so I found that it's much more effective. And so this whole loop is just you're listening to Spanish, you're understanding it, and you're repeating. This transcript training is just how I like to do it. Okay. And it's also what I saw like language lords do a lot of as well. Something similar. He got fluent very, very fast as well. And in the beginning, it takes you a lot of time to understand a little amount of content. For me, I studied grammar for about 15 to 20 hours, I think, or so, something like that. And it took me 30 minutes to understand 2 minutes of Spanish content, of real native Spanish content. But what happened was because the next study session, I started back from zero, I did that over and over again until I understood the entire 50-minute episode of real native Spanish content without subtitles. And after that, I was conversationally fluent. So it really is about quality, not quantity. What I'm talking about here is quality over quantity. okay? Instead of spending thousands of hours on slow Spanish, spend fewer hours on harder Spanish and allocate more of your sort of mental capacity to understanding it in exchange for learning the language faster. When you extract logic, when you sort of search up a sentence and really get down to the bottom of it, that logic can apply to every other sentence in Spanish. And so it's the difference between memorization versus internalization. It's the difference between memorizing 1 + 1 = 2 versus understanding the plus symbol and the equal symbol. When you understand the plus sign and the equal sign, you're able to solve every single example of it being used. In the same way that if you extract one logic, if you learn one logic once, you're able to reapply that to several other sentences. So for example, if you searched up me doy cuenta and you found out that it means I realize, instead of memorizing that, what I would do is I would go word for word, I would translate it word for word and realize that to give oneself account means to realize. Darse cuenta means to realize. And I realize would then be I give myself account, which is why I realize is me doy cuenta. Now I'm able to use the verb to realize in any sentence ever because I've learned the logic. Whereas the person who just memorized me doy cuenta isn't able to say me daría cuenta. And so that's why it's crucial that we spend more time actually understanding it than just listening to it. And also that the thing that we're listening to matches what natives actually say. And the result this gave me was so unbelievable that I get hate comments today saying that I'm lying about how long it took me to learn Spanish. You see, what I did was before the summer of 2022, I told everyone that I'd be fluent, and I made it not a question of if, but when. So I had the correct mindset of studying. And before that, I wasted time on apps and stuff that gave me no real progress. But as soon as I started doing transcript training with real native Spanish content for about an hour a day during the summer of 2022, by the end of that summer, after about 90 hours, after a total of 120 hours of studying, including my grammar, I was able to have a full 1-hour conversation with a native. And so the total period was about 6 months from when I started until I was conversational. Not years, not several years, which is what this whole slow Spanish, streaming Spanish method, like that, the mainstream sort of Spanish learning content online tells you. And so as your action step for this video, find one clip of real native Spanish content with accurate subtitles and make it a little too fast for you. That's a good thing. It should be hard to understand, okay? It should be challenging, right? In the gym, you don't pick the weights that you're able to comfortably lift. You lift the weight that you're not able to lift very comfortably so that you get better at lifting that weight. It's the same idea here. And so you pick content that's too fast for you. Then you play, for example, one sentence and you'll probably not be able to understand it. So then you use the subtitles to find out what they're saying, understand what they're saying by going to DeepL and translating everything word for word, and then understand the grammar by putting the verbs into SpanishDict.com and then just practicing the conjugations. And I'd already gone through all the conjugations for Spanish verbs, so I was able to understand it, okay? This isn't something I'd recommend to an absolute beginner, though you can still do it as a beginner. The understanding step will just take a lot longer. And then just repeating this over and over and over again. That's what I did, and that's really what got me fluent. And so the TLDR of this video, stop training for a language that nobody speaks. That's it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're serious about learning Spanish or you want help from me, then check the second link in the description to join my program. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed and stay humble.